everything good coming last time, they could hear us because you see some. Yeah, connect to the radio. I fixed that already. Okay, gotcha. I just about to disconnect it. Shalom, shalom. First, we'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh, Bahashem, Kakadash, the honors to the apostles and elders of great millstone. Peace and blessings to the hopeful lake, the house of David, and the brother Halak to my left. Krishna, coming to you for another daily lesson. As the title say, be now your own understanding. I'm gonna get it right now before we get it right here before we get into it. This is Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5 and 6. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart. Heart goes to the word love, thy mind, and lean not unto thine own understanding, in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. Because if we lean on our own understanding, we're going to get lost. Why are we going to get lost? Because this is Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai's movie. And we going off his script on our understanding. We're going to be doing the wrong things. We're going to be at the wrong old scenes. We're going to be in the wrong places, committing the wrong actions. Give it direction. We're not to lean on our own understanding because what? That is what these people do. The rest of the world, 2/3 and the rest of the world are doing. Yeah. You got it. I would say you can tell by how they're going about life, how they're going about the times to come. How they're going about the times to come. They're going about the prepping for WW3. Prepping for oil gas, prepping for oil food, how they go about doing it, Why? Because they're leaning on their own understanding, Spirit, I was saying the same thing. They going their own way. You're not going to where your house should be sure. They're going to where they Isaiah 55. Isaiah 55, verse 7, 8. Okay. I know what Isaiah 55. This is Isaiah chapter 55, verse 6 and 7. Seek ye the Lord while he may be found. Call upon him while he is near. Let the wicked forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his thoughts, and let him return unto the Lord, and he will have mercy upon him and our power, for he will abundantly pardon. Read verse 8. Verse 8. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, said the Lord. So my thoughts are not your thoughts. My ways ain't your ways. So the way the Lord has all everything orchestrated. He's ultimately telling us, hey, look, the way you looking at this ain't the way. No. You need to really look at this from my point of view to the best of your ability. That's the scripture telling you how to look at it. Jake, get nobody tell me nothing. Jake, the Lord will come down and tap him on the shoulder and tell him what he do. That's why he sent his prophet. The Lord not finna do all that just for you. He has his ways on how things need to be done. So he's not about to go differently or divert from his ways just for you. He's not gonna divert from his ways just for us. He ain't shit. Like we all the filthy rags. Ultimately, the Lord has his ways, how things are going to be done, how things are going to happen. Jake, for some reason, still think that the Lord, think things will happen the way that they need to happen. That's why we need to get watch brothers' videos, comment board, they could be asking dumbass questions like, why the Lord didn't just make Israel all perfect? Yeah. Why the Lord didn't do this? Why the Lord, first of all, just shit the fuck up. It ain't for you to know that. I think it's in the book of Sirach where it says, seek not the things that are above thee or beyond thee. Hey, stay in your lane. Like, that's the Lord. Like, he ain't even the way it need to go, but that's the way it can happen. You gotta be. And like, Like this is ultimately, this is how he wanted us to go. This is his. He's the director. This is his movie. You know, this is his movie. Like you niggas, because y'all try to say, okay, how can I make this about me? Or I don't like how the way it's going. So what can I interpret it as? Like y'all say, okay, the MOTB, man, that can't be the Michael C help. You know, nah, because I'm making that money. Nah, because I got this lifestyle. It can't be that. It has to be white women. It has to be Sunday worship. It has to be everything that the scriptures describe it to be. Why? Because y'all doing this after your own lust, after your own heart. You know, because what? You don't want to let the place go. You know, ultimately you don't want to let the place go. It's like, cause look, it said you cannot buy or sell without that without that mark, that stamp, you know. But yeah, I say everything else but what it is. Well, scripture says there's no private interpretations of the scriptures, you know. But it's gonna be a lot of reasons. That's gonna be one of the main reasons y'all gonna be destroyed, because y'all do not want to follow the instructions of Yahweh Shemel Shah. Listen to this. This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 32, verse 24. He that believeth in the Lord taketh heed to the commandment, and he trusteth that in him shall fare never the worse. You know, you trust in Yahweh Shema Shah, that you follow his law, such commandments to the best of your ability, you won't be worse as you were. You know, you trust in him, but if you don't follow it, you're going to be worse than you were.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
What's that's 7 where when the Lord come, you come into this thing. Brother, by young Yashua, Shalom, brother. Yeah, like they said, you come into this thing, decide to go back off in the world. Of course, you're gonna be way worse than what you left out, because the Lord gonna hand you over to you know, all those demons that were before, and shit. They gonna bring their whole entourage back. So there ain't no way the Lord gonna cast your ass out into that outer darkness. You know, what you they like that nigga, what's his name? Pegasus.
Yeah.
Alizé, man, the Lord done threw that nigga so far, he gonna lie to him what type of shoes he got on. Like that nigga, he gone. You know?
This is Psalm chapter 35, verse 5. 37, verse 5. Commit thy way unto the Lord, trust also in him, and he shall bring it to pass. You know what? These scriptures are things he promised you, you know, all the things that was written, you know, that he said, what, you're gonna eat when everybody's starving, you know. You're going to laugh in the time of famine, and in the worst time ever, he's gonna protect you. You know, miracles, spiritual power. You know, the sisters being saved. You know, the sisters being covered. You know, hey, you gotta what? You gotta commit that way to the Lord and trust in Him.
Yep.
You know,
I got one for you.
You got it.
Like you get Romans 9:20.
Okay.
Because going back to what the topic, you know, the topic of the lesson, lean not on thy own understanding. How can something that was created tell the creator how something is supposed to go, or why it's not a certain way, or why it need to be this way? You know, well, you got it, bro. The priest gonna speak for you.
This is Romans chapter 9, verse 20. Nay, but oh man, who art thou that repellest against Yahweh Shemel Shah? Shall the thing formed say to him that formed it, why hast thou made me thus?
Shall the thing say unto the thing, read that last part again about the shop?
Shall the thing formed say to him that formed it, why hast thou made me thus?
Yeah, shall the thing that was created say unto the creator, why did you make me this way? No. No, you understand that the Lord is the creator of all things, and He has creation. Like if, bro, we were sitting back when the apostles, not the apostles, like the elder of the body, the elder Shaquat was talking the other day, and we were just going into how, brother, I've been getting into agriculture a lot. Is understanding how the Lord made it to where even when trees die, trees are natural fertilizer. So when the you know how you had the buzzers that clean up like the dead animals and everything like that. When trees die, they fertilize and they break down themselves to allow new vegetation to grow, and they basically feed everything around them. But ultimately, they're going into how the Lord is so cold with the creation, bro. The Lord cold with creation, bro. You got niggas like, oh, well, why the Lord do this way? Or why the Lord do that way? No, if your ass stick to just what the Lord had everything, because when Allah created everything, they stepped back and they said it was good. You got niggas in Esau trying to do everything their way and they fucking it up, bro. You fucking up everything. Cause nigga, what, you leaning on your own understanding. Esau thinking he can manipulate or he can what's what I'm looking for? He can dodge prophecy or dodge his judgment. Niggas thinking they can just do whatever and they can keep putting the Lord off. No, follow what the Lord is saying. His ways ain't your ways. His thoughts ain't your thoughts. His understanding ain't nowhere near. Well, our understanding ain't nowhere near his understanding. Through scriptures, we get like a trailer, a small portion, each brother. But ultimately, the Lord's understanding is way beyond what we can even vast to think what the scripture says. Eyes 10 times brighter than the sun. So when you start talking about that mind and how he do things, man, we'll never be able to do that, man. That's why Esau fucking it up. You know what type of understanding, wisdom, knowledge, and power you gotta have to run the earth? To run the earth, bro.
Yeah.
Why you thinking when we get the kingdom on that first go round, we're gonna be running alongside Yahweh Shai through what? Yahweh's understanding, bro. You know what I'm saying? Through the Lord's understanding. Esau trying to run the whole earth out his own mind, wickedness and full of shit, and look at it now. Look at niggas day to their life. But look at those who follow Yahweh Shema Shai to the best of their ability and wisdom, knowledge, truth, and sincerity. And look at the results of that.
Okay.
You got it, bro.
Okay. So
55. Yeah. 5.5.
okay. Hey, but yeah, look, in the world has been destroyed because these people have lean on their own understanding on how they're gonna run the world. They threw away the scriptures, like, nah, we ain't listening to none of that. Cause the scriptures, it'll tell you how you should how you should operate with the land. What to eat, what not to eat. Why? Because if you don't eat the things you're not supposed to eat, well, that's gonna keep the filthy things to clean the earth. You taking out the garbage disposal. You taking out the cleaner.
This bitch, she gonna tell me we need to put more oysters and crabs and shrimp in the water. Bitch, stop fishing them out of there.
Yeah.
That's an easy fix. It's an easy, simple solution. Stop fishing them motherfuckers out of there. You ain't supposed to eat them.
Yeah, fishing.
People might talk about my language. That's just me. I try. But you get so pissed off when people do dumb stuff, bro. You talking about, oh, well, we got to put more of them back in there. Okay. Matter of fact, real quick before we close out.
Okay.
I want to Google how many crab, fish, and oysters, how many shellfish are fished out of the ocean?
Yeah, because those are supposed to clean the ocean. You have other things that clean the land, but Esau always fucking with the stuff, fucking up the earth. If you would obey the commandments, if you would follow the law, the world will be in a better condition than it is today.
Yep.
And we see that now. It wasn't just about, no, you can't do this. No. It wasn't about that. It was about living in accordance, living at one with the earth, but also to keep you healthy. You weren't made to eat that stuff. It literally messed up your system.
Yep.
when you go when you work against the system, you know, against Yahweh Shemi Shai system.
Yep, I got you right here. It says the top value. It breaks it down in values. So it says the basically the because they classify when you talking about oysters and stuff like that, and and mussels. So those are different levels of shellfish. But also we know all the shellfish, especially like the shrimp, the oyster, their bodies are like filters for the water. So you get into shellfish. This is why the scripture said, going back to the title, lean on thy own understanding. We started looking, okay, why did the Lord create it this way? Not to rebel, but to understand why it's that way, so you can adhere to why he done it that way. So the shellfish, their bodies are like filters to the water. That's why they bottom feeders. They eat the shit. They filter out all the impurities. They keep the water clean for the other fish. The other fish come. They got their own circle of life. The other fish come through and eat them. You know what I'm saying? And more of them are populated. It keeps itself in order.
Cohabitating.
Real quick. It said when you talking about just oysters, clams, and mussels, over about 294.6 million pounds. Then when you talk about lobsters, it's 581.3 pounds. Then you got crabs, which is another 570.2 million pounds. And then you got scallops, which is 466.9 million pounds, bro. So you all together, you looking at 5 and 5, that's a billion. 2 and 4, that's 6. So you're looking at almost about 2 billion pounds of shellfish that's fished out of the ocean every year. But then you got an idiotic motherfucker who come back, idiotic bitch who said, well, we need to put more fish back in there. No, they already there. To do what the Lord said do and leave them alone. Let them do what they naturally supposed to do. Lean not on our own understanding. His ways are not our ways. His thoughts are not our thoughts. When you start doing your own thing, that's when you start messing up the earth, bro. When you start doing your own thing, that's when you start fucking up your whole life. You know? Our lives have became so much better since we have started to fall under the order of Yahweh Shema Shai. You know, just the small things in our day-to-day life was growing to those big things that have become better and better in our life, bro. So how much more in the kingdom?
God.
You know?
Hey, yeah. You know, shit, lean out on your own understanding. Why? Because Yahweh Shemi Shai has already given us a path, has already given us a roadmap, a study guide, a cheat sheet, how to walk, how to conduct the earth, you know, how to move, you know. You know?
You got an open book test, but you're gonna say, man, forget the book.
Yeah,
you're gonna study a whole other subject to take this test. You know?
You gonna be like, this is what I think the answer is. You know? Your way's the right way. Nah. So
we're gonna see though.
Yeah.
You should hold to that because somebody gotta fulfill that 2/3. I pray that it's not any of the brothers, the beloved brothers that I have preaching and teaching, you know, in truth and sincerity. You know, those few sisters that are out there ultimately going into the 1/3, which is already predicted, estimated. So you niggas, you 2/3 niggas that keep doing what you're doing because somebody got to fulfill that number. You know? It just makes our chances even better.
Okay. So with that, we hope you was edified. Again, we're going to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kakadash, the honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect, the house of David. Until next time, Yahweh willing, Shalom.
Shalom. Shalom, Mike, and Shalom.